Alors, pour cette édition 2026 de Séries Mania, nous accueillons Russel T. Davies, le seul, l'unique. How does it make you feel when people ask you questions about shows that you've made almost 30 years ago? Because I'm going to do that.
I'm very lucky that people remember shows I did 30 years ago. I'm delightful. Listen, I think about them all the time. So it's no surprise. And the fact that someone like Queer as Folk is 27, 28 years old now, and still gets mentioned is a miracle. It's like, there's not many other shows from 1999 that get talked about. So it's a compliment.
Yes, because that means that you're a history maker, kind of.
I wouldn't call myself that, but you can call me that.
So if you had to rewrite Queer as Folk today, and I'm sure the question has been risen these past years, would you change anything?
Well, I do get asked that a lot, and it's almost impossible to answer because it sounds like a criticism of things that we did at the time, and it might sound like a criticism of the cast or a criticism of the director and stuff like that. And they made something beautiful, and I'd hate them to pick up a magazine or to pick up a newspaper or to go online and find me saying, I wish we hadn't done that. So, I'm sure I could have written it better. To look at me, there's probably things I would have done and said now that I would do differently. But then I couldn't have done that at the time because I hadn't lived that long. So, no, I think it's a lovely snapshot of 1999.
There's this kind of urban legend that you can write better under pressure. Is that something true, or do you think at least?
I wonder. Yeah, I suppose maybe that's true of everyone. I think that's true of a lot of writers. I think even if you have to do your homework or write an essay for university, then the pressure helps. But I think that largely comes from, I wrote a book when I was working on Doctor Who about the writing experience called The Writer's Tale. And the Doctor Who workload was phenomenal. There were 14 episodes of Doctor Who a year, 13 episodes of Torchwood, 12 episodes of the Sarah Jane Adventures every year. That's a lot. And I was show running all of those things with no staff. I always love it to see Ryan Murphy productions and there's all his staff being named. I had nothing. I had no one. I had no one to carry my bag or do anything. Not that my bag needs carrying particularly, but so that's where the reputation of working better under pressure comes from, because there was nothing but pressure in those days. Life is a lot easier now. If I do something like Tiptoe, that's just 5 episodes a year, and that's lovely. So it's a lot calmer now.
We'll come back to Tiptoe a little bit later.
Yeah.
But Doctor Who. So coming back to Doctor Who years later, what surprised you the most? The industry, the audience, or maybe even yourself?
I don't think there were any surprises particularly, and I didn't come back for surprises. It's a chance on Doctor Who to write in pictures in the way that you can't on any other show. It's everything else I write, no matter how much energy and life and imagination I put into it, is basically people walking right to left, in and out of bedrooms and in and out of kitchens and in and out of offices. And if it gets particularly exciting, they might get into a car. That's it. And it's like, whereas in Doctor Who, you get to write monsters and epic chases and vision people flying over London, spaceships and gods, and you just never get that chance again. And I kind of started out in graphics. I was kind of going to be a cartoonist. So it's a chance to flex those muscles, which never die. I love doing that.
What's the situation now?
It's like, we're not talking about it much because I'm not about to give you exclusives here and now. But there's another special on the way, and the BBC are talking about things, so its future is healthy. It'll be fine.
Amen. That's a question you get asked a lot, I know, but is there a companion you feel you didn't get enough time to explore?
Oh, no, or I would have given them enough time. I was lucky I've done it once and I've had a chance to come back to it. And I love those companions. I write them forever. I mean, in a way, none of them get enough time because I give them all 100 episodes each, but sadly, television wouldn't give me that.
Is it harder for you to write something like Years and Years or It's a Sin, knowing that people will connect it directly to real life trauma rather than something science fiction?
Yeah, I think no, people are always invested. I mean, no one's more invested than a science fiction audience. They're passionate about that stuff, and I know what you mean though with real life stories, whether it's about AIDS or whether it's about refugees in Years and Years. I suppose there's a responsibility to get it right. And to be accurate, but you shouldn't ever sideline your imagination. You can equally imagine situations that might never have happened, but as long as they're true and honest and good, and you've written it well and with integrity and authenticity, then that deserves its place as well. So I think in the end, it's just working well, it's doing good work. Then I think you can sleep at night.
How does it make you feel to see the world unravel these days the way it was happening in years and years?
It's very strange. I mean, I do think in years and years I kind of threw everything at the wall and some of it is stuck. But it's a bit strange. There's even a pandemic in there at one point. And Ukraine amazed me. I mean, my predicting of Ukraine is the smallest issue about Ukraine. But I remember looking at the world and thinking, they've already taken Crimea, so obviously Ukraine will be next, and I was horrified to get that right. But it's part of I kind of wish television as a whole engaged with more stuff like this. I think sometimes we live in pretty little villages having murders and or in sleazy cities having murders in alleyways and things like that. And sometimes I think television just doesn't talk about the real world often enough in the way that we all do. Maybe we have enough of it in the real world, but I like doing that. I like engaging with it.
I think it's a bit of the same, this echo in the war between the land and the sea. So, yeah, how did it come about, and how does it fit into the Doctor Who universe?
Yeah, it's a spin-off in the Doctor doesn't appear, but it's set in the world, it's set in the 21st century world in which the Doctor has some effect, and it has some characters in it who've met him. But it's a great big ecological thriller, and it comes from me sort of living by the sea. I've got a house in Swansea, which is on the Welsh coast, and when you look at the ocean all day long, you start writing stories about it. And obviously it's got an ecological side to it, that we are ruining the oceans, which I think a young audience loves, and a young audience doesn't kind of despairs that they don't see these things being talked about or being dramatized. So yeah, that kind of rose up in my heart to write about it.
And it felt like a happy ending, contrary to Torchwood, obviously. So you was like, oh, that's nice for once.
Yes, I think, well, there's kind of a genocide at the same time. So
Sure.
it's like laughing at the word genocide there. It's got an edge, but I think it would have been terrible to leave people without hope. And actually, I think the situation with the oceans is leaving us without hope. So I think it's important, especially with the young audience, to try and lift that, to give them some sort of spiritual dimension of joy at the end.
Obviously, you said before that It's a Sin was a deeply personal project. So revisiting this theme, did it feel like closure, or was it to reopen something, the debate?
Oh, I think there's never a closure with something like that. Time marches on, and we see the 80s and the 90s, and even I do work with AIDS charities now and HIV charities. It's ever changing. And on a positive side, there are now plans that in theory you could rid the world of the virus by 2030. That's a campaign. I'm not 2026 now. I'm not sure we're getting there, to be blunt. But what a great positive campaign to have. So it keeps changing, it keeps shifting, and people keep surviving. That's the great thing. People who've been through that. Sometimes one of the reasons for writing It's a Sin was sometimes we get told an entire generation was wiped out, and it wasn't. The entire generation wasn't wiped out, because that generation was one of the cleverest, and the queer community was one of the cleverest and best at mobilising themselves and working out what was going on, about raising funds and demanding medicine. It in some ways, the AIDS story is a great success story for those who survived, because they were determined to survive and made people change the law. So that story keeps changing. I could have written another 5 seasons, really.
We would have watched it. There's almost a Russel T. Davies universe across your shows, like ordinary people facing something overwhelming.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you've been telling variations of the same story all along?
Oh, always. I'm quite sure I've got one script, really, and I just keep changing the names and mixing it up. But it is always, I hardly invented this, it's the everyman discovering something extraordinary. And I hope to think, I think I write every men with an edge. They're not just simple, nice people walking into it. I think I write complicated people. But yeah, it's a pattern that I love. And that's a very basic storytelling template, really. It's like, it works for me.
It was hugely highlighted in, again, the war between the land and the sea, in the first episode, when he says, "Oh, I'm here by mistake."
Yes, I love that. Yes, I love that, because it could have been the story of a soldier. Mm-hmm. It could have been the story of a world-class diver discovering something mysterious beneath the ocean. But I wanted to do the man who books the taxis, just that ordinary bloke at work. Yeah.
One of your main topics is family, obviously, whether it's chosen or biological. Yes, do you think that's the real heart of your stories, rather than, again, politics or science fiction?
Yes, I think the family is where it all belongs. I'm very lucky. I'm from a lovely family, lovely mum and dad, 2 lovely sisters, and we're all still very close, and now my sister's children are growing up. So that's a very good bedrock to work from. But you see from that luck, you see other families not working. But I think it's the story of that every man or every woman. It's where you start. Have they got a family? Who is their family? Where are they from? What's their life? What do they feel? How do they sleep at night? What are they carrying with them in their heart and in their mind? So it's a very basic place to start, and I love it. I think there's endless material in that.
If someone watched all your work, back to back, Jesus, what they think they would understand about you that isn't maybe obvious at first glance?
Oh, I think probably that. I mean, my producers always say this, that I'm kind of darker than I look. I'm quite a laugh, but actually, it's when you watch Tiptoe, it's like finally all the guardrails are taken off. I didn't have anyone on that saying you must give us a happy ending. And my God, that goes for it. You wait till you see the last episode of that. It's tough.
Well, what can we expect from Tiptoe?
Yeah, Tiptoe is coming up soon, and it's actually the story of two neighbours. It's neighbours at war. It's a gay man living next door to a straight man. They've known each other. They've been there for 14 years. They've never bothered with each other much, like neighbours don't. Hi, morning, that's it. Until one of them, through a series of circumstances, decides to give the other their front door key, just for safety's sake. And that literally opens the door into a whole world of problems. And the problems that descend upon them are all the problems that we see in the modern world, all the misinformation, all the lies, all the hostility, all the cancelling, all the dread, literally manifest in both characters and through the lives that they live and through their families and their friends. And it's a story in which no good deed goes unpunished because everyone says the wrong thing. A text goes wrong, a DM goes wrong, a voice note goes wrong, good wishes go wrong, help goes wrong, friendship goes wrong. It's very much a story about the modern world where we can feel all of this going wrong.
Which project are you the most proud of? So, which children is your favorite?
Well, that's hard. Right now, it's Tiptoe. Genuinely, honestly, I watched episode 5 of Tiptoe. It's 5 episodes long, the last episode, and I sat there thinking, wow, I've never written anything like that before. And that feels good. It feels nice to be proud of something like that.
Especially after all these years. So you can still feel like
So that's a nice feeling, actually. It's there. And I'm not saying that just to publicise it. Honestly, I literally sat in the edit and went, wow, that's new. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Do you ever read fan reactions online?
Oh, no, that's deadly, isn't it? A deadly way to go.
Do you feel freer as a writer today, or more constrained by expectations and, well, your fame, basically?
That's hard because I'm very lucky with my career. I'm enormously free to do what I want, which isn't to say the entire industry is freer. But actually there are. For all the problems, and we know what the problems are, problems with streamers, problems with budgets, problems with scope. And but when I was young, all the great writers used to sit in Granada Television in Manchester and all used to plan. I can remember sitting in the bar and they all used to plan their doctor series or their lawyer series or their police series or their vet series. And now they can sit there and plan series based on their own lives. So that's really, you look at Michaela Cole doing that, you look at what I did with Queer as Folk. It's a much more exciting world. So that's healthy, I think.
And just to wrap this up, what's the TV series, in your opinion, everyone should watch in their life? And what's your favorite TV show?
Oh, my favorite TV show is Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who.
Doesn't count.
I'd say that.
No.
Yeah. It's hard because I like anything written by Sally Wainwright. I love her shows. I'd say go and watch Sally stuff if you want to watch really great British drama. Watch everything Sally Wainwright's ever written.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy the festival.
Pleasure. I had a really good time. Thank you.